What's up, Mob Crew? I'm Chris, and today's missing person case is Don. Also, today's person of interest is Olivia. Today's missing person case is Courtney.
Hello? Oh, nothing more creepier than a freaking shaft. Hello? What's up, Mob Crew? I am Chris. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Of course, before we get started, I've got a sponsor for today's live show, so I'm going to quickly play that, and then we'll get the show started. Mob Crew and friends, are you prepared for the widespread food shortages ahead? Farmers have been warning us for months, but are we listening? They say it's beyond their control, especially with the fertilizer crisis. Bottom line, food shortages will be a harsh reality very soon. That's why you should get ready now with emergency food from My Patriot Supply. And good news, today you'll save 20% on their 3-month food kit. These kits provide delicious, easy-to-make breakfasts, lunch, dinner, snacks, drinks for one person for 3 solid months. Get one for each member of your family while you're able to save 20% during this timely sale. Remember, My Patriot Supply is the nation's largest preparedness company with millions of families already protected. These 3-month food kits, which average 2,000 calories a day, are in stock and ready to go. Your order ships fast and free and arrives in unmarked boxes. Go to www.preparewiththemobcrew.com. Those who know what's coming are already prepared. Are you? Prepare with www.preparewiththemobcrew.com. Thank you so much. All right, so special thanks to My Patriot Supply for sponsoring today's show. So thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to watch the show. We're going to be covering the Debbie Collier case, taking a deeper dive into certain aspects of the case. But before we get started, for those that are new to the channel, I like to feature missing person posters at the beginning of my shows. I do also take requests, so if you want to email me, so let's say if you have a family member or friend that just went missing and they need the exposure, you can email me and then just email me the details, and I'd be happy to feature them in an upcoming live show. Excuse me. So real quick, let me get into the missing. So here we've got Matthew Cole, just 16 years old, black male, black eye, black hair, last seen wearing orange, yellow shirt, blue pants, white Nike sneakers, 5'5", 145 pounds. He just went missing on the 4th. It says the details: the victim left the facility in an unknown direction and has not returned. The victim frequents the Smoky City area and the April Woods apartments. If the victim is located, please call Memphis Police Department. So obviously he went missing in Memphis, Tennessee. So if anybody's out there, please be on the lookout for Matthew. It says he was missing from the 800 block of Manassas. So there's that. Oh, we got the captain in the house. How you doing, Captain? Honored to have you in here, buddy. Pleasure as always. And then one more. We have Lindsay Rachel Tukes, age 30. She went missing at the end of September. Let's see. Details are female, black. Black female, brown hair, green eyes, 5'4", 130 pounds. Last seen on 700 South Broadway in Los Angeles. Okay, so wait a minute. Okay, so actually she was last seen on June 2nd. I don't know why it says September 30th up here. It must be an update or something. So she was last seen on June 2nd. So that's been a while of this year. So anybody in Los Angeles, in that area, please be on the lookout for Lindsay. Phone number to call is 213-996-1800. So there is Lindsay. And all right, let's get into today's show. Like I said, we covered Debbie the other day. And there's been a few new developments, not too much, but I wanted to take a little bit deeper dive into the Venmo message. And then, of course, they released the longer footage of their surveillance. We'll kind of look at that a little bit. And then the boyfriend, who some people suspect, has been, I found him chatting in a YouTube video. And so I thought it's interesting to take a look at that because it was actually from today. And he does talk about some details that I haven't heard before. So I thought we'd definitely take a look into that as well. So just for those that are new to this story, so this is Debbie Collier. She is, let me move this over just a bit. She was 59, and she had worked, I'm not sure how long, but she'd worked at the Carriage House Realty in Athens, Georgia, as a front-end office manager. The neighbors also, so a side note, so she went missing on September 10th, but prior to that, apparently neighbors heard shouting at her home in Athens prior to her going missing, which is a little interesting. So on September 10th, she must have left the house sometime before 2 p.m. because for some reason, and this is a Saturday, so this is game day. She's her and her husband, and I'm assuming a lot of the family's big fan of the college football. And so you have game day at 4 p.m., but the university is south. And so as we can see here, this is her home at 435 Rocky Drive. But for some reason, she drives all the way north up to Clayton. And that's over 70 miles, depending on which route she takes. But it's over 70 miles and at least an hour and 17 minutes to get to this particular Family Dollar. What's odd is this Family Dollar that she goes to, there's nothing that, there's probably like at least 10 Family Dollars that she probably would have passed on the way going to this particular Family Dollar. And it just doesn't make sense because you have the university, the stadium, which is actually just south, maybe 10, 15 minutes, and we'll look at it deeper. But it just doesn't make sense why she just wouldn't go somewhere in Athens to a Family Dollar because the items she bought, there's nothing really unique, and we'll look at that. So, and then unfortunately, they would find her. So that's so September 10th. This is she'll be seen at the Family Dollar. She arrives there approximately 3 p.m. She stays there for about 20 minutes from arriving to the parking lot and then leaving the parking lot at approximately 3:19. And then what's interesting is there's the Venmo that gets sent out at 3:17, and we'll look into that a little deeper as we go along. And then that would be the last time she was seen or heard from. And then unfortunately she would be found the next day on September 11th. And she would be found just before 12:50, so just after noon, off the Highway 15. Her car was parked right here, as you can see, and they would find her not too far from that. There's kind of mixed info as far as like how she was found. Some say she was fully nude, some say she was partially nude, and then some say she's partially burned, and then others she's fully burned, so we're not sure. So I just said she's partially nude. She was found partially nude and burned, and she was gripping a tree branch. So, and they have not fully released what was the cause of death, as far as I know. I was asking Gisela, and she, I just asked her just before I went live, and she hasn't heard anything. And she's been covering this case extensively. So, this is why did she drive so far to the Family Dollar when there's plenty of Family Dollar stores on the way, or Dollar Generals? And we'll look at the items that she bought here. We'll go back to the crime scene. So these are the items that she bought. So she bought 2 rolls of paper towel. She has a red tote bag, those reusable bags. Then she bought a tarp and a poncho. And then I've heard torch lighter and just regular lighter. So it's hard to tell, but I've seen torch lighter come up a bunch. But these are the items that she bought. I guess you could say it would kind of make sense for like these items being for like a tailgate party. It just doesn't make sense why you would drive over 70 miles the opposite direction of the stadium to where, because the game started at 4 p.m. And it would take at least an hour and 17 minutes for her to get back. So it's just odd that she would go to this store, which I'm sure most of these Family Dollars have these same exact items. So it's a little odd. And okay, so this was the crime scene. So she was obviously found the next day, unclothed, partially burned, grasping a small tree at the bottom of an embankment. There was some mixed reports that she fell off a cliff, but that I don't think that's true. It's just a steep embankment, not a cliff. And so many of her belongings had been burned as well, and they recovered her purse and cell phone at the scene. So I wonder if they were burned as well and they just recovered part of them, or if they were intact. I'm not completely sure on that. Let's see. So this is, all right, so we'll come back to this. So this is the strange message that was sent out, which is sent out at 3:17, and it's a Venmo, and it's from Steve Collier, which is the husband of Debbie, and it was sent to Amanda, the daughter. And it says, "They are not going to let me go. Love you. There is a key to the house in the blue flower pot by the door." And it's just such a strange message. There's no punctuation in it, which is odd. So it's kind of hard. I mean, you could kind of interpret it many different ways. So this is from leaving the Family Dollar, which was in Clayton. She would have her body would have been found approximately 14 miles from that Family Dollar, heading south. So then moving on to possible suspects. So we have the, so I'm kind of confused because it's supposed to be ex-boyfriend, but in a recent message that I saw, I think they're back together. I'm not sure. We'll talk about it later. But so for right now, we'll just say ex-boyfriend. But that's the ex-boyfriend of the daughter, Amanda. Now, apparently, they had a very toxic relationship between Andrew and the daughter, Amanda. Apparently, he said that she would steal $500 to $600 from his check each week, and then spend that on like drugs and stuff. So there is a little bit of toxic history between them, and they both have some. He's got a bit of a record, DUI, marijuana possession charge, some court fees, and then she's got not a big rap sheet, but she does have a few things, including some domestic violence and disorderly conduct. Just looking at my notes here. So, but for Andrew, what's interesting is he did leave this note that's been going around. This note, which says, "Have a nice life. You lying a bit, you know. Don't ever contact me again. If you or your family ever come near me again, I will hurt them. P.S. I'm not stupid. Here's your effing toy," I think it says. Something like that. Or dog, I'm not sure. But, so yeah, that was left. So that note was left in May. So that's a couple months before this whole incident with Debbie. So it's a little interesting. And so here is Andrew.
Had any contact because every week she takes money from my card. Still been taking money from my card. And 500 or 600, she goes and does dope with my money. Like I've made over $30,000, $40,000 this year, and I'm completely broke because she's. My issue there's clothes in the house that is mine.
So, could you tell me what happened when you came over here this morning?
I asked for my clothes, and she said I needed to leave. So, I just got here. I haven't done anything wrong. That window's been broken.
You saw Versa hatchback. Yeah, that's a great question. That is something that I've been trying to look into. So I had gotten one of those, I think it's Truth Finder, where you can do the background checks. And it wasn't giving me any of the vehicles to the people that I was researching. It was driving me nuts because I wanted to, look up everybody that was kind of surrounding this case and see just what other vehicles are, in this story, as far as just to see, because we have obvious surveillance of Debbie and that Family Dollar. And it'd be interesting to see if there is a vehicle that somebody owns that shows up in that footage. So, but yeah, I am going to definitely take a deeper look into that. Is that Tony? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good catch. I'm not sure exactly. That's a Nissan for sure. That's the emblem. Looks blue. Interesting. But yeah, that's definitely a hatchback. Not sure. Might be a I forget that model, but yeah. Yeah, good eye.
Can I just leave if she's not going to give me my stuff? I really haven't.
We're just trying to figure out what's going on because, beating on somebody's door this early causing scene it. So, I understand like stuff's been stolen or whatever. But
She said to not ring the doorbell.
The red cars in that lot.
Knocked on the door a couple times.
Interesting. And like I said, I've got some. He was literally chatting on YouTube earlier today, so we're gonna look at that. This Andrew guy. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely take a look at that. There's so much going on, and then you've got the. I know I did a video on Delphi with the supposed ex-cellmate. When I look. Do a deeper dive into those documents to make sure they're legit. We'll definitely go live about Delphi as well. All right, so moving on. So yeah, so he is an MMA fighter. He even talks about he's going to be getting back into the scene, which is interesting, and we'll look into that. What's up, Tom in? Hope everyone is having a great evening, working and watching. Love your channel, Chris. Thanks, buddy. You're awesome. Hope you're having a good day at work. Oh yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, one of his wins was a rear naked choke. I know it sounds funny if you're not an MMA person, but yeah, he does. Obviously, he knows jujitsu and stuff. You look nice today, Chris. Thank you. So, all right, moving on. Now we got Amanda Bearden, which she's kind of been on my radar from the beginning. I think a lot of people. And so we'll just kind of go over. Obviously, one of the things is, the whole stealing money. That doesn't look good, back in the day. Then the charges I talked about earlier that she had, the disorderly conduct, that was in November 2012. That earned her 12 months probation. Then in 2013, when she was 27, apparently she broke probation after she attempted to provide a fraudulent sample to a drug test lab. So she probably was, brought in some fake pee or something. And so that got her 30 days in the local jail. So she does have a little bit of a record, nothing major.
Hi.
Sorry, that is just a tad loud. So this is her calling. We're just going to listen to the second half of this. I just think this is interesting. So we'll listen to the first minute and then we'll listen to the last little bit because it's interesting why she calls. Now, this call actually takes place on... Check my notes. I got so many notes in this. I think this is September 11th. So this is, it's been a whole day since her mother went missing.
My name's Amanda Bearden, and I filed a missing persons report on my mother last night.
Okay.
Or yesterday, excuse me, and I was just wondering if maybe I could speak with the detective that's been assigned to her case.
Okay. Do you have any further information?
I sure do. Do you want the case number?
Okay, give me the case number so I can look it up that way.
Bear with me just a second. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, it's 2022 dash 0910.
So she calls and says she's got like new information, and then like when they get the case number pulled up, then she says she doesn't have like any new information, and then talks about the GPS tracker on the rental van.
0216.
216.
Yes, ma'am. 002.
So that makes things a little more difficult because people are allowed to leave and go and do things without telling other people. And I know that's not a good answer. I understand that. But
so I'm just going to skip it forward a little bit because I've already kind of gone over this in my last one, so I don't want to repeat the same live. So I'm going to kind of skip forward because I've got new stuff that I want to show you guys, but I just kind of want to show you just a little tidbits of what we played last time.
But that is also, that is also part of it because she is an adult. So it just takes some time also to do these things. And so I don't specifically know what they've done yet or not. I wasn't here last night, so I don't know. But from my understanding, they would be doing everything that we know to do currently. But I will definitely get somebody to call you back, okay?
Okay, thank you for talking to me.
It's no problem. I'm so sorry. I hate that this is happening to you. What was your name again, sweetie?
Amanda Bearden.
Amanda Bearden. Spell your last name.
Bearden.
Okay. All right. I'll get somebody to call you back here shortly, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Yes, Michelle. I agree with part of what you say.
Athens Clark, can you please?
So anyway, I'm going to skip it just to this one little part. I just think, okay, so their mother's only been missing for B3. They called it 6, and this hasn't even been technically 24 hours. Well, I guess the message came at 3. Yeah, so still not even 24 hours that she's missing. Now, this could just be a concerned on her, and she could have absolutely nothing to do with it. But I just want to point this out. She seems like she's trying really hard.
My name's Amanda Bearden.
Okay. All right, hold on one second.
I thought about it, and I have her iCloud, information. I know that if and correct me if I'm wrong, but if the phone is turned off, it would still track her. But I do have her.
Where'd it go?
Amanda Bearden.
Amanda Bearden.
Colonel Johnson.
It just takes some time also to do these things.
Okay, anyway, she wants to get a PI. It might be this. That might be the first call. Anyway, she wants to get like a PI and stuff. And it's just, I thought that's kind of weird. It seems like she's trying like a little too hard.
She knew something was wrong the moment she received that disturbing message. More than a week after authorities pinged Debbie Collier's car near a wooded area just south of Tallulah Falls in Habersham County, investigators continue to search for the person who killed the 59-year-old mother of two.
My mom was my everything. Somebody took my whole world from me.
Okay, so this is the daughter.
Debbie's daughter, Amanda, and her stepfather, Steve.
Some feel like she's acting, we don't know. And we'll talk about what they've been doing since.
Reported her mother missing on the evening of September 10th. Stephen said he'd seen his wife the night before and that her rental was still in the driveway when he left for work that morning.
I started going to all the different places that I thought she would go, like Walmart, Ulta. I mean, I drove around for at least 2 hours.
At 3:17 that afternoon, Amanda told police she received $2,385 from her mom via Venmo. The money transfer included a message that said, quote, "They're not going to let me go. Love you. There is a key to the house in the blue flower pot by the door."
Immediate hysterical. I'd never been through this before.
Oh, yeah.
When authorities located Debbie's car, they found a red tote bag, down an embankment, a partially burnt tarp, and Debbie's clothless body.
She was a beautiful, kind, giving woman. And she didn't deserve any of this.
Amanda says the last time she saw her mom was Friday night. They ate dinner, ran some errands.
Yeah, we don't
went home
know.
separately. She had this message for her mother's killer.
I just want them to rot in hell. I do, sir. I mean, it's not going to take my pain away.
Oh, I wish that didn't pop up right there because she feels like she's, I don't know. Everybody grieves differently, so it's so hard to tell. But to me, it sounds a little much. All right, so moving on. So one of the things I found interesting, just doing the little bit of research that I have so far in the last couple of days, is there are 3 or 4 911 calls or calls to law enforcement. And I thought it's interesting. And if we get time, maybe we'll listen to them all. But really, so Steve's the first one to call. So Steve calls on September 10th. And he calls at, because obviously the daughter gets the Venmo at 3:17. And he calls at 6. What times he calls? So he calls at 6:01. So yeah, almost 3 hours since the Venmo got sent. And it's interesting because when he's talking to 911, he mentions he's like, my stepdaughter got this message. So I thought it was interesting. So she's mentioned in the first 911 call, like how she's the one that like alerted everybody. Then you move on to Diane, who is Debbie's sister, which is interesting. And she talks about, so she calls law enforcement / 911. And she's like, yeah, I'm worried about my sister. And I'm sure, it's her sister. But she also goes on to say, well, my niece wanted me to let you guys know, which I thought was interesting, who is Amanda. So she says, Amanda wants you guys to know that there was this accident that involved, that happened like a month prior, where a paint can fell out of a guy's truck. And so there was a little accident and they pulled over, and this driver was on probation, and he kind of threatened them or whatever, and he didn't want them, Debbie, to call the police. And so they thought maybe that could, maybe this was retaliation. And then you've got Amanda, who also calls, the following day on September 11th, and claims to have new info, but then turns around and says that she doesn't, and then she's wondering if she should get a private detective. To me, that's a little interesting that she kind of inserts herself into all these 911 calls. It could just be a coincidence, but just thought that was kind of interesting. Then, of course, we got Steve Collier, who I just put up there as a possible suspect because obviously you're going to look at, because they say that this is, a personal attack. So this is somebody that's most likely knows Debbie. So that, obviously you start with family members, and then, you work your way out to extended family, friends, neighbors, and so forth. So, but he does have an alibi. He was confirmed to be working from like 9 to 4. He was parking cars for the game that day. So he does have a solid alibi. He did arrive shortly after they found her rental van along with Amanda, which is a little suspicious. So then we kind of look at this whole Venmo thing, which I think there's the biggest clue in this case is obviously this Venmo. Now the amount is very interesting. So was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. So Gisla from Grizzly True Crime, shout out to her. She did a show, and I also have to shout out AMA. She was in her chat, and she said that she might have figured out where the 2,385 come from, and it is kind of interesting. And if you, this one here. So apparently, if you take his DUI charges, 4 months he got probation, so $45 per month. So that adds up to, I guess, $1,750. Then he paid only 5 months, so he owes 4 more months plus 29 days. So anyway, if you put all those together, so you got $2,025 plus 135 plus 225 comes out to 2,385, which is kind of crazy. Could be a very strange coincidence. But that, so yeah, that was kind of cool. That happened on Gisla's channel yesterday. And so she put out after she did her live, she also put out like a separate video just kind of addressing that and kind of clearing everything up. And in doing so, is this one? So she actually made Fox News, which is actually pretty cool. So we'll just read this article real quick. And then we're going to go back into the Venmo because I think the Venmo, to me, bugs me a lot. So Debbie Collier murder, 2.4K Venmo payment, very close to sum of daughter's boyfriend owed in fine, sources say. So the day before deputies discovered the office manager dead in the National Forest, she sent obviously a money transfer to her daughter along with a confusing message. The sum Bearden received the day her mother went missing was very close to the amount of her live-in boyfriend, Andrew Geikerich, who owed in probation fees. 2 law enforcement sources confirmed to Fox News Digital. Viewers, so this is really cool. Viewers, actually it makes it harder to read. Viewers of the Grizzly True Crime podcast revealed the connection Monday after, so was it Monday? Maybe it was Monday. After adding, it was Monday, that's right. After adding up a series of imposed fines and calculating payments Andrew had already made. So that's pretty cool. So shout out to Gisla for that. So here is Andrew And this is him actually seen. We'll just play. So here's him actually talking, like, let's see. So this was published on the 5th. So this was taken just recently, like maybe yesterday or something. Oh, gosh, I hate these ones, the way they do this.
Yeah, no, I'm not. We sleep with stuff in front of our back door and our front door because I'm not. We didn't have anything to do with this, so we're a little scared ourselves. No. We had nothing to do with this, so we're just I know. I bet. Ourselves at this point.
So just a short little clip, and exit full screen. So anyway, that's him talking to a local or something, I guess. And so, you know what we got. So we're just at almost at the end of the first week of October, but so it's almost been a month. But he doesn't seem like he's, you know, scared or on the run. So definitely have to take that into account. And then here's him texting somebody and just seeing at a local food mart. So he's certainly not on the run. And then here's a picture of Amanda, who is seen outside a residence in Atlanta on September 23rd. Let's see if there's anything else new about that. No. So there's those two. Doesn't look like they're, you know, on the run. So take that for what it's worth. I know some people just try to play it cool that are still guilty. And we move on to where did I leave off at? Okay, so I wanted to point this out real quick. So with the Venmo being sent, there is possibly 3 notifications that are going to go out. So assuming that Steve, obviously they share this bank account with Debbie. So, you know, it's even though it's sent from Debbie. So assuming that they have their notifications turned on, like myself, that once this gets sent out, Debbie's going to receive it, Steve would receive it, and Amanda, you know, if they have their notifications on. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So I think that's kind of says something, like, you know, how it's a good possibility that these guys, whoever did this, knows the family and where they were at, so they weren't alerted and went to try to get help, and, you know, so but that was kind of interesting. And during this time, so Debbie is obviously at Family Dollar when this Venmo is sent. Steve was at work when this Venmo was sent. He was parking cars for the football game. So maybe he had his phone on him, didn't have notifications on, or maybe he was just busy and didn't look at his phone. And then you have Amanda, where, as far as I know, it's still unclear exactly where she was at around this time. She would eventually come home, because she was home shortly. So Steve called at 6:01 on September 10th, and she was there. So obviously she would have eventually been home sometime before then. So this is something I was looking into that I don't know if anybody else has talked about. So I think there's definitely could be some clues in this. So obviously another possible suspect, but just somebody that we haven't heard of that might be still close to the family. And I had an idea. My theory is that Debbie was approached. So the husband went to work at 9 a.m. that morning on September 10th. I'm assuming, I guess the daughter was gone or either with the boyfriend, not sure. I feel that Debbie could have been possibly approached at the house, or maybe she was coming out, was approached. And then the suspect took her into the van, and then they drove off. And so I thought it was interesting. Was she maybe leaving a hint in this message where she says, there is a key to the house in the blue flower pot by the door? And I was just thinking, well, maybe that could mean, did the suspect, if she was grabbed, when she was coming out, or, she was taken before this ride north, that maybe she saw them handle one of these pots, or something fell out that's near one of these pots. And so she's trying to, point this out in her, little message here. The key is by a blue flower pot by the door. So that's just kind of obviously just some speculation, but I guess you guys can't see that. There we go. Yeah, and I'd like to know your guys' thoughts. So I'm going to ask you guys here in just a minute. Thank you, Michelle. So this is my thing. So the message doesn't add up. If you have time to send a long message, why not give a description of the suspect or suspects, like white male, red car, long hair? I think it's odd that this message was sent when she's in this parking lot. I mean, it's certainly a possibility, but I just find it hard that if this was sent with her just being alone in this car. And, she arrives at this location about 3 p.m. She enters the store at... She enters Family Dollar at 2:55, and then exits store at 3:09. Okay, so she arrives at this location just before 3 p.m. Excuse me, and she enters the store at 2:55. So she's been there for a little bit. So the question would be, who actually sent the Venmo? And so I guess, and there's just a couple of ideas that I put up. So no punctuation in the message would indicate someone in a rush, which would mean Debbie. Could be leaving clues in the message, like the blue flower pot, or like trying to hint at like the suspect is got a blue car, And then we've got, and the money is sent at 3:17. Yeah, 3:17. Yeah, money's sent at 3:17. Or did Amanda's boyfriend send the message to clear her name and both involved? So it's the boyfriend, the girlfriend. Maybe the boyfriend's in the back of the car. And then did the husband find out, have an affair, and his wife had his wife murdered, and so he sent that. I don't know if that would make much sense, but another one could be a ruse to clear the daughter, so the daughter, because anybody, obviously Amanda admits that she has access to the iCloud, which means she probably has access to the Venmo. So it's possible that she hacked into the account and then just sent the money herself, kind of clearing herself, right away. I'm just thinking that if I were panicking, sending a message without punctuation, something would be misspelled. Oh, that's true. That's not a bad way. Yeah, that's true. My only, and probably my biggest argument is this one right here. So if she's alone with her phone in this car, why wouldn't she just call 911? This is like my biggest argument as to why I think somebody is in this car. At the very least, someone following her. But I really think, honestly, I think this is the biggest argument for me is why I think someone's in this car and we just don't know it. Because if she has her phone, why not just call 911? And let me know what you guys think. Because this is approximately 3:17. It is interesting. The vehicle kind of stops around this time that this message gets sent. But if you have your phone, because you're going to receive that, I mean, unless you don't have your notifications on, but it's a shared account, I would assume, like, if the daughter was setting something up and it's a booby trap down the road and they send that message prematurely, she sees that, she's going to be like, what the hell? And then starts calling everybody like, hey, what's this message, you know? So that's my biggest argument. I'm going to see what you guys say. Cammy says, I believe someone was in the car. Does a Venmo message have to be typed on a phone, or can you use voice to text? Good question. I'll get on Venmo right now and I'll let you know. Exactly, Chris. Someone was in the car. Thank you. I think it's a pretty big argument. In my honest opinion, he was in the car from the beginning and he did the text and killed her. Yeah. 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 That's what I've been hearing. Because typically, you know, it's game day. She's obviously wearing the outfit, the Bulldogs. Thank you so much for the $5, Michelle. I'm just gonna pull up Venmo. So let's see. For speech, let me do speech. Send money. Yeah, so you can. Yes, you can. Obviously, you would have to type out the amount, but yes, you could do voice to text for a message. I'd show you, but it just doesn't work when you show up your phone like that. So, but yeah, you can speak, and that would, I guess, could explain the no punctuation, or one way. She used no punctuation except a period at the end. What was up for that? Was there a period at the end? No, not even a period at the end. So, at least not in this. I know I've seen a different version of it, but I think that's just let me pull that one up real quick. Let me see. Okay. Oh, this one does have a period at the end. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. Some people are trying to figure this out on Twitter right now. Like, what's up with this? Because everything is the same. But yes, you do have a period right here. So is this, makes me wonder. One second, guys. I just want to do a side by side with it real quick. Because it's a little interesting because it looks so different. And see, this one says Debbie Collier paid you $2,385. It's a little weird. I think this might, okay, so what I think, all right, I think maybe, because what's crazy is you can actually look up people's Venmos and actually look up like payments and stuff. It's kind of crazy. It's a little weird. So I think you're right. I think this might actually be the real one. I'm not 100% sure. And then this is just what it looks like if you go to look it up. Because as you can see, it says 11 days later. Maybe this is what it looked like when Steve pulled it up. I don't know. It's still a little weird. Doesn't make sense why it'd say Debbie Collier paid you, though. That is weird. That it would say Steve on one and Debbie on the other. I don't know. Maybe that happens when it's a shared account. Not sure on that. I have to look into that though. But the only other thing is, I mean, and props to, like I said, Gizla and AMA for coming up with that 2,300 thing. But the only thing is like, is she really gonna, oh, what was I gonna say? Is she really gonna do all that math? Like, she seems like she's in a hurry. She's not doing any punctuation. Is she really gonna pull up that math? Like, if it came from like Debbie or something. So yeah, I could see the daughter. If this came from the daughter, totally makes sense for sure. So yeah, I looked at this. All right, so Lynn. So this is where there's a little bit of confusion. So Venmo. So if I'm just sending, what's nice about Venmo compared to PayPal is I can send anybody anything without a fee. Just person to person, no fee. The fees are when you go to transfer the money into your bank and you want it that day. That's where the fees come in. So there's no fees, you know, and I've paid rent before up to that amount when I was staying at vacation homes. And there's, even when it's kind of that high, there's, so a direct transfer, that means to the bank, but person to person, there's no fee. So, because yeah, a lot of people were thinking that she was sending 2,400, and it actually, you know, what's funny is it takes 1.57% if you wanted to do it that day, and it's crazy because it actually comes out to 23.58. So it's the same four numbers, but the 8 and 5 are switched. But like I said, this is person to person, so sorry to drag that out, but I just want to clear that up because a lot of people do think, you know, oh, maybe 2,400. But yeah, just why the number? I think it's another clue, in my opinion, if it came from Debbie. But like I said, it just, to me, if she's got her phone, and here's another thing is, you know, they said when Steve originally called 911 and the daughter was in the house, and apparently the daughter went upstairs to check like what was missing. She said the purse was missing, credit card was missing, driver's license was missing, and then it comes to find out that she did have all those things. So it's kind of weird that she said that all these things were missing. So she did. So yeah, like I said, it's just weird. Okay, so moving on. Let's get into messages. Okay, so this Miss Harmony, obviously she's got a YouTube channel. I've seen her. I don't know much, so I don't want to say good or bad things. You know, I just barely kind of heard of her. But what's interesting, so she's obviously done some videos on this case, and what's crazy is for instant transfer to person, because I can just send it somebody and it doesn't ask for instant. I'll have to look at that, Lynn. It's interesting. Minus $15, because I could send somebody money right now and they would receive it and there's no fee. Now, like I said, if you're sending it to the bank, then they charge a 1.57 fee, or up to, what is it? Let me pull up Venmo again. Oh, yeah, my Venmo crashed. I know. I'll have to look into that. I trust you, Lynn. But I know a lot of people are confusing the transfer, which is actually just transferred to the bank. That's usually just when you get the fee. And it's a max $25. Yeah, I'll have to look a little more into that though. So anyway, back to this message, what we got up here. So this is MMA 125. Apparently, this is Andrew, which I thought was interesting. And I'm pretty sure, I would say I'm like 90% sure this is Andrew. And I guess they've been kind of having a squabble. And so she was, obviously, I think she kind of suspects him. And then so he's like, I hope I don't see you. Not really someone I want to meet. And then I looked, and he's been talking like all today and starting yesterday. And then somebody comes along besides Miss Harmony and starts asking him some questions. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, like I said, I don't know 100% if it's him, but we'll just look and see what he says. I thought it was kind of interesting. So then she says, I'm sorry you feel this. Make sure you guys can see this. I'm sorry you feel this way, but you can get treatment for anything you're going through. Then this guy says, the way I feel about... Okay, so, excuse me. MMA says, I'm sorry you feel this way, but you can get treatment for anything you're going through. Harmony comes back with, the way I feel about abusive men, you will never have me feel sorry for you. Anyway, move on. And so then it says, I understand Andrew. Okay, so it says Andrew Gerkerich has the body of a Greek god, so I see why you might be jealous. Now, so hearing that, you might think, okay, so that's not Andrew, it's somebody that knows Andrew. But then you'll see that sounds like it is him. Of course, Miss Harmony comes back and says, you're not a Greek god. And the next one is where it gets a little interesting. So this Andy Bay comes along, and then this is where it changes the conversation. So MMA says, have you not been watching the news? I'm innocent. So I thought that was interesting. So before it says like, hey, that Andrew guy looks like a Greek god, but then here, this next message, and this was just like, so that was 4 hours ago. I took a screenshot of this. So this was probably like 6 hours ago. So like I said, this was from today. Then Andy comes back. If this is really you, you're a damn good MMA. Had huge potential with that. Watched all your videos. So this guy's kind of sucking up to him. I wasn't accusing you. It was a throwaway comment to see if you would reply. Anyway, who do you think killed Debbie in your opinion? So then MMA comes back. Thanks. I want to start fighting again soon. It's hard as an amateur to have consistent funds to support yourself until you make a pro. As for Amanda's mom, I have no clue. My best guess is either serial killer type of thing, or maybe she was having an affair, which is interesting because I'm starting to hear that a little bit more. So I don't want to say that, but I don't think it's a coincidence that she took a whole week off from work before this happened. So that's interesting if that's true. Got to take a sip here. Okay, so then he says 3 hours later, I do think whoever did this had some knowledge of her life, though maybe stalked her, or she could have been having an affair. I don't know. But I think someone threatened someone close to her, and that's why she never alerted police. Could make sense. Just my theory based on what I know about my girlfriend's mom. So that right there is interesting. So, because we've heard ex-boyfriend, boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. So, because like I said, they've had this toxic relationship off and on. So it sounds like they're back together right now from this. And then, of course, do take this with a grain of salt, So then Andy says, I know, man, training is not cheap. They talk about MMA stuff, which is interesting. Then he comes back, talks a little bit more. So he says, no, I didn't know much about it considering I moved back to Georgia 2 days before it happened. I just feel the only reason she wouldn't alert people if she was in trouble is because someone threatened to hurt her daughter or someone close to her. It's possible someone could have stalked her and learned about her that way, but I'm leaning towards an affair or someone that would have known where the place she cared about lived. Some of that does make sense. Like I said, I agree. I think somebody showed up at the house and was in that van the entire time. And we'll double back to that just after this. Then he also answers the question, and my coach just made it to the UFC, Chris Barnett. He became pretty popular. So the only reason I say it's a pretty good chance that this is actually Andrew talking is he does know, the UFC. He knows what he's talking about, Chris Barnett. I watch UFC, not as much as I used to, but I still kind of keep tabs with it. I think that's interesting. I mean, take it with a grain of salt, but I do think this is him. I know. Okay, so I was looking at that. Becky G, thank you for the $10. I was looking at that. He does sometimes, and then sometimes he doesn't. But yes, and I'll show you the first message. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no punctuation. So thank you so much for the $10. That is a good eye. He does somewhat. So here's MMA. So yeah, he goes all the way through this, and there's 2 periods. Interesting. Gosh, man, now you really look at it. I was going to point this out, but now that I'm looking at it even more, he does it. He's got these 3 periods here. Yeah, so he does have 1 period here. His typical 3 periods. That's Andy Bay talking. Now this would be the only one where he does, I understand, comma. There's some punctuation there. Doesn't leave a period. Sorry you feel this way, but you can get treatment going through. No punctuation, not really needed. But this one right here, this one kind of stood out to me. This is the first one I saw, and this was like, oh my gosh, that could be onto something. I hope I don't see you. Not really someone I want to meet. But if you read it like all together, it like messes you up. I hope I don't see you. Not really someone I want to meet. Or it's like, I hope I don't see you. Not really someone I want to meet or something, So yeah, there's the punctuation is off in this. So that is interesting. And that like when I saw that, I was like, I actually literally, like, that's what this screenshot is like, I was like, oh my gosh, no punctuation. A little interesting. That is true. And that was going to be my next point. Thank you, SD. Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of in a rush. So I do get that. So yeah, there's definitely 2 sides to look at it. But to me, if that is, Andrew, he's sitting on YouTube watching videos. I don't know, maybe he's sweating it, or maybe he's, there was another one. Is that all of them? Oh wait, there's one more. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, there's one more. Here we go. So, Adam Bay. And the time you spoke to her, did she ever mention a stalker to you or Amanda? Did she seem her normal self the last time you saw her? I don't know if you've seen the CCTV footage from inside the Family Dollar, but she seems completely normal, calm, and relaxed. But she does some odd things in the parking lot, like drives off, stops, waits for a bit, then moves off, which I agree. We're going to look at that at the very end before we get off. Apparently, during this time, she was sending a Venmo with a weird message about they not letting her go or something. Do you know who they could be? Then a bunch of people ask him questions. He only responds to Andy. He says, I think who I think I think they is whoever did this, but you wouldn't text your daughter a killer's name for obvious reasons. You wouldn't text your daughter a killer's names for obvious reasons. It would make her an immediate target. Doesn't really make sense. Okay, probably about 5 months since been beat up. He goes easy. Oh, he's responded to somebody asking him about MMA. That's why I think this could be good possibilities, Andrew, because then he talks about MMA and he's all excited, and he is right about the stuff he's talking about, because I kind of looked up his record. Okay, so if you watch, okay, so that's the only thing he talks there. So, okay. Then there's some people putting out saying that total is completely off, but I don't think they're checking all the charges. So I still got to look into that. There's some people on Twitter saying that the whole total of the court charges is wrong. It's only 427. I talked to Gizla just before I went live. She said that they're not adding up all the other stuff that he has. So that's something I'd have to do a little more research on. Let's see. Okay. So here's the better version of the surveillance footage. So she arrived at the store. So this is while she's in there. So I'm just going to kind of skip it. Okay. So there's the car pulling out. Did we ever see her walk out? That's the entrance right about right here. Oh gosh, you guys can't. I'm right in the way. Sorry. There we go. Okay, perfect. So her car is right here, the van. So what I think is interesting is all the times that she stops, almost like she's getting orders. I know, I wish we could get a closer view at the... It's too bad those windows are tinted. But so here she's pulling out, and then she parks. And so this is around 3:17, so it is a coincidence that this is sent at Venmo approximately at this time right here. But like I said, if there's nobody in the car with you, why not just call 911? In my honest opinion. And then there's one more thing I wanted to show you guys too. Or answering a text. So then it moves again after sitting there for about a minute. And the other thing I noticed is, to me, that's odd, is almost like she goes to get it if she was just kind of going to go around this vehicle, which just makes no sense. I mean, I can't zoom in. I mean, you've got a clear straight path. You've got a perfect path just to go, and, you know, there's no cars coming this way. So to me, I think this turn right here was her going to park again. I would bet on it. I mean, she almost like does a whole 90 degrees. almost like she's just about to go park again. And then it's like, like she's receiving directions or something. And it's like, okay. And then, of course, I know early on people are looking at the Subaru, but the Subaru actually just goes left. She goes right, which is southbound. The Subaru ends up going northbound. But this is the other interesting thing that makes no sense. So let's look at where she ended up. Okay, there's that. Directions. And out. Such that. Oh. Okay. It's not quite as far. But there's just something interesting. So we're going to zip that back. More like right here. So when she leaves, so obviously Family Dollar. So here we're at the Family Dollar. What's interesting too is that the footage, and I don't have it on me right now, but she actually comes, so before she goes into the Family Dollar, she actually comes from McDonald's, which is interesting. Or it looks like she's coming. So she could have came this way, I'm not sure, or came from this way. I think it's actually from this way. So she could have came from McDonald's. So then she's seen coming in. And before she comes in, she actually, before she even goes into, sorry, I'm trying not to make you dizzy. She actually pulls in and then pulls into a stall like either this one or this one. And then sits there for a couple minutes. And then pulls all the way forward to, the stall in front of the store. Sorry, I'm trying to get over here. So what's interesting is she parks in a stall here first, sits there for a minute, and then she goes and parks in here. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It's like she's getting directions, in my opinion. Like somebody's in that vehicle. Gosh. So she would pull out, which would take her now on this highway, and she is heading southbound. So now I'm going to kind of skip forward here. Almost there. So about 16, 17 miles. Gosh. Oh, there it is. Okay. And we are looking south. So she would be heading south. And so we're going. And let me pull this up here. Make sure I've got my right spot here. Panther Creek. Right, do I got the right spot? Yeah, it's just after this. Yeah, okay, there's the victory hump. Yeah, okay, yep, just a little too far. There's where I wanted to go. That's the spot. Okay, here we go. Went just a little too far. Yep. Where is it? So we get on this side of the road, and she's going to be found. Just coming around this corner here. Sorry, it's not loading up properly. Okay, almost there. Okay, this is where she'll be found. So what's interesting, so you would see her car obviously parked right here, and we'll do it side by side. Make sure you guys can see that. So that's where she'd be found. But what's interesting is she's heading this way. You know, she's heading south. So she would have been on this side of the street coming back, which means, so she would be on here because she's heading south. So what's kind of crazy is she would have had to done a U-turn up here. So as you can see on this, oops, it's right here. It allows you to do a U-turn about, about a mile up the road, maybe less. So a little interesting that she'd be found on that side of the road. So that's, I think maybe if there was somebody in the vehicle with her, then maybe there was somebody coming to meet him. And then that was kind of like the meeting spot. And they're like, okay, now turn around. And they met up, at this spot. They have her drive in here. So that's just my opinion on that, but let's see. Yeah, she's driving. Yeah, for the whole time that we could see, she's the one that's driving. But like I said, the passenger windows are tinted, so it's a good possibility. So here's just the short version.
Yes. Came on, my wife was at home, or driver's license still in there.
So here's a good picture of her sitting. So you can see her in the car. So you don't see anyone in the passenger seat. But that's a good possibility that someone's just sitting back there giving her instructions. Maybe they told her, maybe they needed some of these items. So they told her, buy a lighter and a couple things. And then maybe had her buy stuff that looked like it was for, a tailgate party. But I just want to go back to this one thought again real quick. So I just thought it's interesting that she says that there's a key to the house in the blue flower pot by the door. And I don't know. My instincts think that that maybe if she did get abducted at the house, that maybe something happened around the flower pot. Maybe it was touched. Maybe it was, and there's a clue around that flower pot, and that's why she put that detail in there. So just curious. Could have, oops. Stephen Watts says, could have went in. Oh, it did pop up. Oh, sorry. It keeps moving every time I try to pull it up. Could have went into the rest area where you said she had turned around. Oh, okay, yeah. I doubt Amanda was allowed in the house. Yeah. Oh, and he certainly could be. When a suspect has stories about a crime, it's very telling. Yeah, he could be deflecting. I just thought it was interesting that, he's on YouTube. I mean, assuming that's him, but I would probably bet money on it that was probably him talking. He does say he's like very, what was that? How'd he put it? Paranoid, I guess. He's afraid that somebody's going to hurt him, which I thought was kind of odd. Anyway, I'm just going to read the chat for a minute, just see what you guys think. Yeah, that is true. Can't see the daughter and boyfriend murdering for that amount of money. Yeah, unless there was like life insurance. And then she was the beneficiary. But then usually there's stipulations to life insurance on murder, but hadn't found the footage by the school heading south like they did when her van went north to Family Dollar. Yeah. Ooh. She was told to go there to help someone who said they were broke down. Oh my gosh, yeah, that would make sense. Oh my gosh. That'd be a perfect ploy, too. Two people are bald, and you had one person, like, there, acting like they've broken down. Oh my gosh. That's not a bad idea. That's, yeah, I broke down theory. That would totally make sense, because it's like, why is she gonna, do this U-turn? I mean, it just makes no sense. I mean, obviously the whole thing doesn't make sense. Why are you driving? Well, we'll just get one last look before kind of approaching the end here, but just looking on Google Earth here real quick, and I'll just kind of show you all the little spots here. You can kind of get an idea. So here's her home. This is the Family Dollar. So this is over 70 miles to drive to this Family Dollar, which there's probably, like I said, at least 10 Family Dollars that she passed on the way here. Game day is at 4 p.m. Assuming if she arrived sometime before 3, just a little before 3, she would have had to have left the house about 1, a little after 1, depending on how fast she drives. Her husband obviously left to work at 9 a.m., but he didn't see her. Maybe they don't sleep in the same room. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of weird. But anyway, but game day is at 4 p.m. She's all the way up here, which is over an hour, almost hour, 20-minute drive. And then probably to get to the football stadium, it'd almost be an hour into the game. I mean, why would you drive all the way to get those items just to be an hour late to the game? Makes no sense. And then obviously, so she's traveling back. Body found here. I think the breakdown series that you guys were talking about, that makes a lot of sense. Like there's more than one person. I will. Let me find it. Okay. I'm looking for it, Lynn. Please look at the black truck. It might be the boyfriend's. The black truck is in the picture with the house. House in the parking lot. Okay, let's do it. Love it. Working together. Let's do this. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay, so let me... Okay. Let's take a screenshot of the boyfriend. So he is here. Are we talking about this one here? Let me know, Lynn, if you can put a yes in the chat. Yay? Okay. All right. It's not the best. So we definitely got a Nissan. That definitely looks like a Nissan. Like a newer Nissan Versa. Oh, okay, that's a better angle of the Nissan. Let me take that. Yoink. So we can kind of see what's on the roof of this. So this has got some kind of rack on this vehicle here. Kind of give us, we can't really see the color, but it gives us something to kind of go off of. No, not that one. Okay, all right. Well, I got these pictures. Okay, which one? Which video? Sorry. Oh my gosh, I can almost see that license plate. I will go to the next video. Let me know which one we're talking about. I'm sorry, I thought we were talking about the older Jeep Grand Cherokee. Okay. I'm just getting this one since I have it up. Okay. Which one, Lynn? What video are we talking about? Just tell me, Savannah. I'll look for your message. Oh, the truck at the Octagon House. Okay. Is there other pictures of the Octagon House? Now, is it... I'm trying to think. Picture of roundhouse, large grass with truck in it. The truck at the... Okay. Do you guys have that? Can you send it to me? Let me look up the case. That's interesting. I might definitely take that one just in case. Oh god, I hate web files. Yeah, can you email me if you have it? Okay, where's Savannah do? Yeah, the Hobbit house is kind of cool looking. Do we know where it's from? Okay, cool. Perfect. Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. Okay. Is it getting any bigger? No? Okay. So... Gotcha. Might even be able to see a license plate on it. Okay, we got a couple of vehicles to look at. Okay, let me close that. Okay. So that's a black Ford. It's a black Ford. Sure. F-150. I don't know if somebody knows. I'm not a big truck guy, but I'm assuming that's a Ford F-150. That's a Ford F-150, is it? Okay. What was Savannah? I'm trying to look. Savannah, if you wanted to put something, I was trying to look because I would definitely like to get the details right, but all right. If Savannah says something, let me know. I will definitely want to clear anything up that I've got wrong. Okay, so want to look at the parking lot footage one more time. So, okay. So this is from beginning to end. So we've seen Nissan Versa. Okay, let me write down the vehicles. So we had a blue, what looked like a blue Nissan Versa. We've got a Ford, I'm pretty sure it's a black F-150, would you guys say? And that Jeep Grand Cherokee, which the Cherokee, it's hard to tell. It's definitely a dark color. Say it's not white. So right now we're seeing footage of her while she's in the store. So the black truck comes from the right of Family Dollar. Okay. So should we speed it up here? We can always go back. Okay, so we're halfway. She's still right here. Huh. Yeah, that's not bad. There's definitely a black truck that kind of fits that, just sitting right there. But you got to remember, the husband was parking cars, if that is the husband's vehicle for the game. Left. Okay, so there she goes. Oh, is that? That's a truck. It is a black truck. Is this one we're talking about? This one you're talking about, Lynn? Yeah. I'm assuming this is the one she's talking about. Let's see which way this goes out. God, it makes this, it takes the same route. Wow, that is crazy. It literally takes the same route as the van did. That is so weird. Unless there's like something like obstructing right here. Why is everybody going right around this vehicle? Oh no, it swings back. Okay, so the truck you're talking about is here. Her van is here. Sorry, I'm not reading chat right now. I'm just keeping my eyeballs on what's going on. Okay, nobody's gotten out of that black truck. Still haven't gotten out of the black truck. Weird. And there it goes. Okay, so I'm going to pause it real quick. So now van is here, I think. And nobody's gotten out of the black truck, which is kind of interesting. Or I think that's the van. Or no, the van hasn't. No, the van's just barely turning now. So there's the van, just barely turning now. Van leaves. Nobody gets out of that truck. It's a little weird. And just sits there. Huh. Everybody's stuck to it. That's interesting. And that's the end of it, unfortunately, but no one gets out of the vehicle. That is a little odd. I mean, I'm not going to play the whole thing again, but interesting. Yeah, I'm going to definitely look at some of these other vehicles. Like I said, I got Truth Finder, but for some reason it doesn't tell the people, like the vehicles, what who owns what vehicles, you know. Because I was just kind of curious what the daughter drives and, you know, what's in her name. But oh, thank you. I couldn't do it without you guys. You guys are amazing. I wish we had some more footage of like this high. I would really love to know, because they have highway footage. I would love to know, because obviously if there's cameras facing northbound, there would be southbound. I would love to know, like, what was there anything following her after, you know? So, oh yeah, and you guys are on the tiny screen. Yeah, it's interesting. That truck pulls up, and it does. I don't know. It's really weird. And then just sits there. Nobody gets out. That is kind of interesting. I'll definitely take a deeper look into it. Know about what? That was a Ford 150 extend cab. Oh, you're saying that it's different from the other Ford 150. I'll go back and compare them if I get a chance. That's interesting, though. Yeah, sorry for all those that are on the phone and like, what the hell is going on? Just side by side. It's not going to be the best side by side, but sure, we'll do that. Then we'll wrap things up because I hate to go too long. Okay. Would be a good spot. Right there. Oh, I see. Yeah, because it's got the four-door. That's looking like a four-door. Okay, where did I... That looks like a four-door. Could be wrong, though. Sorry, that quality is poopy. You can see that? Boy, that's got a sticker. Man, I wish it wasn't so grainy. Yeah, I'm sure there's tons of, is it different? It's different. So tough to tell. It's close, but I believe you guys. I am not the best car person. Oh, I wish Savannah would have told me what you were. But if you did email me, I'll look at it, make sure. There's MMA 125. No, I mean, I just learned of that MMA 125 just before I went live, so I guess I'd have to go back and look. I mean, I haven't completely been throwing him under the bus. I'm just saying he, honestly, to me, it's almost like the daughter seems more suspicious, but, obviously it seems like whatever's going on, they know, and it's just a matter of time, especially with the cell phone data. I'm sure that is going to tell where everybody's at, and they'll know if the daughter is anywhere. He's on a few at the moment. I'm not sure what that means, Savannah. I'm not sure, Savannah. Details that I got wrong. If I did, I will have to correct them, but I'm not sure what we're talking about. Anyways, I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to watch me. It's in the chat. Yeah, sorry, Savannah, I'm missing it somewhere. But yeah, if you want to email me and let me know what you're talking about, then I can address what I missed. Husband has a confirmed alibi. Yes. Yeah, right. Yeah, we talked about that. I think it's just a matter of time, and there will be an arrest with the next couple of days. 6 hours of searching, boyfriend's house. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. So anyway, we'll probably 6 hours at Amanda's house with the search warrant. Wow, 6 hours at the house? Yeah, that is. I don't know what the average time for a house. Maybe if it's like a dirty house, maybe it's takes longer. Who knows? But I think the big thing is obviously the cell phone data. When that comes out, I think that'll be huge. So. But like I said, my biggest argument is I think somebody's in there. Just one more time, I think if you're sending a Venmo, like if you have your phone and you're by yourself in a car, why not just call 911? And like I said, I think she would have probably oh, I can't mention. Oh, okay. They're giving you post managers court fees and need to let you know it's misinformation. Yeah, yeah. So we talked about that a little bit. So yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, this stuff here. Yeah, apparently it comes up approximately to it, and then I know. So here's what Gisla and some other people put together, and then there was. this person, Scoos the Sleuth, saying that it only equals to $427. So I'm not sure. It's something I need to take a look into before I go either way, because I definitely don't want to throw anybody under the bus. So, but anyway, thank you, Savannah, for letting me know. Anyway, guys, I love you guys. I should be on tomorrow. We'll probably be maybe going over the Delphi case and the serial killer running loose in Stockton, California. Might have to touch on that too. So Savannah says it's nowhere close. Yeah, I mean, honestly, just the whole idea seems a little out there to like add all that up, like especially if it came from the mother. It seems weird, like she's going to add all this total up. Now the daughter would kind of make sense, Still, why not just get as much as you can if you're going to murder her? So yeah, I don't know. The money seems a little weird. I think it's more of a clue, to be honest, like an address or something. I don't know. I think it's more of a clue, in my opinion. So. Thanks, Nightbot. Just FYI, mob admins, the Twitter address in the description to the account. All right, I will look into that. Thank you. Is that right? No? I just clicked on it. Yeah. Yeah, it works for me. Huh. That's weird. But yes, please follow me on Twitter if you have Twitter. I'll double check. Maybe you're talking about the description. Maybe we'll look into it for sure. All right, guys, I'm gonna play the outro. I love you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.